Hi, I'm Barbara. I'm calling in from California, and it's my pleasure today to have Maggie McKee with us from Vancouver, British Columbia. And she's in Toronto right now. But Maggie, you have had, and we've had a great journey with Nikken. Our paths have crossed many times and over the different events and leadership conferences and traveling. And just recently, you've started back up again in another way. And I just wanted you to share what occurred for you, how it occurred, and maybe I should share about the boss event because we went down to the boss event. It's after COVID, everybody coming back live. And here we are at this hotel, and Maggie's in the lobby, and she's got people meeting her there that haven't seen her in years. And she's using all of us as her ABC. And I'm going, this is brilliant. Maggie's brilliant. So, anyway, with that, I just want you to share because I love you. And it's been great
Thank you.
to reconnect.
Thank you. And Barbara, I remember I first met you when we were in Japan way back, 2000 and what was it, 4 or something? Anyway, met you in the spa there. That was our first meetup. I saw Barbara in the nude, our first meetup. Don't tell anybody. And it was great. It was a wonderful trip. And yeah, we've sort of kept in touch off and on, and you've moved all over the place. I moved once. I moved from where I started my business in northern British Columbia to Vancouver in 2001, and I'm not leaving my place. I love my place. I have a beautiful 1,250 square foot apartment in Vancouver, right in the heart of Vancouver, which is really rare, and it's on the quiet side. So I've got gardens all around, and it's a stunning place. And I've built for myself and others several communities there because community is huge, just like in the Nikken wellness community. So we have a yoga community that meets twice a week with a licensed instructor in the building.
Wow.
We have book club once a month, and we've been doing lots of dinners out. These older people like myself. I'm not older, I'm just wiser, right? I have to remind myself of that. Like Ruth Lowe says, you can't call me old, but you can call me wise.
There you go. There you
So
go.
yeah, the Nikken journey, I started in 1995 when Nikken was pretty new to Canada. It didn't open in Canada till 1992. And of course, Mike launched the big Canadian, the whole Canadian team really, except for my friend Greg Turner, who lives in Victoria, and he was sponsored by Yoshi. He's the only orphan I know that his immediate upline is the first person that became a Nikken consultant in North America. Anyway, Mike is great, and he's coming out to Vancouver again on May 11th. He's been the most fantastic support in the whole 29 years I've been with Nikken. He's come to Prince George, he's come to Vancouver many times, and of course we've come to all the events in Toronto. So I mean, how could you leave a family like this is what I'm saying, Barb. But I did take a break. I found, and I hope I can say some candid things here. Can I be candid? Okay. There was a time, well, about 10 years ago when things just didn't feel like Nikken anymore to me. I missed Mr. Masuda very much. And I really missed the proactive development of our businesses that we got so used to in the 90s and in the 2000s. And I just didn't feel comfortable bringing people on board at that time as consultants. Customers, fine. But I was really holding back on talking about the business because I wasn't as passionate as I used to be. And, I don't know, I think the women here look like they're the same. If I'm not into it, I'm not onto it, So, I mean, I have a great lifestyle. I have a wonderful family. I live in a great place. I've got fabulous friendships, and I was fine. And I'll be 78 this summer. And when I turned 75, I went, now what? I don't know how many of you are, even thinking about that. I see Lorraine's got her hand up. Jane's got her hand up. Oh, yeah, Paula too. Okay, good. Because it's a time when we don't have to, like I worked all my life. I was a professor, I was a teacher. I was, from the time I got married, I worked, except for time off to have children. And So I was used to being part of a, you know, not a, it was a, well, education is different. It's not really as nice as this. It's fun. I love teaching, but the politics were crazy. Let's put it that way. And so I decided that I wasn't going to do anything really with Nikken except maintain, just keep it going, do my auto ship and the people that were already on board. And so of course, when you do that in this kind of business, your income drops a lot, right, Barbara?
Yeah.
And so I got thinking when I turned 75, I thought, maybe I'm done. And then I'm a lifelong learner. So last September, Junia, no, sorry, I'm looking after I'm dog sitting my two grand dogs.
I call them grandpups.
grandpups. And so I registered for a program. Actually, it was my son that I'm with here in Toronto. He and his wife have done a lot of training with Landmark. I don't know if you've ever heard of Landmark, but
Oh, yeah.
It's a very prestigious, well-known, great personal and spiritual development program. And I had looked at it in the past, and because I'd done so many other things, I was getting pretty arrogant. I know everything, right? Anyway, for a gift for my birthday, they gifted me the forum, which is the introduction program in Landmark. And I went prepared to be underwhelmed, to be honest with you. And it was before COVID, so it was live. And there were like, I don't know, 50 people in the room. And I love live events like that. And so I got drawn in and I started to realize that there was still lots to learn. And I became very excited about the training. And then COVID hit and we went online and I thought, this isn't going to work. But it did. So then I decided to do the advanced training. And then in September last year, I signed up for the leadership training. And it is powerful. And it's a 6-month course. Very intense. Like we had classroom online every Friday night from 6 to 10. We had 4 intense weekends that were like 14-hour days. I don't like being on Zoom for more than an hour, but I managed because it was very worthwhile, very good. So during that program, I had the structure around me to go, okay, I'm obviously not done yet. What is this next chapter of my life? It could be the last chapter. I don't know. What am I going to do? And I thought, well, what do I love? What's your ikigai? Remember the ikigai exercise? My ikigai is Nikken. And I love the flexibility of it. I love the complexity of it. I love the people. I love everything about it. So I thought, well, you've got what you need. Just do it, right? So I decided to set a goal, a big, hairy, audacious goal, the ones that scare the pants right off you. Nobody's ever done that, right? Barbara, I think about you when you went Royal Diamond. I thought, oh, okay, so I'm a diamond, but I'm a diamond in rank, but not at the bank. Let's put it that way. I'm not paid as a diamond because my business has gone down. So I thought, well, okay, my goal is to be a qualified diamond by December of what year are we? 2024. So I put that into motion. Obviously, it needs action. So I put together a plan with Mike, and I was gonna, he does that thing about don't cook spaghetti dinner one noodle at a time because it takes too long, right? And by that time the noodles are cold and everybody's hungry. So I was gonna do my usual, da 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 da. And he says, no, put all the noodles in your first 3 months. So we were launching for January. Put all you can into those first 3 months and create a team. So okay, I can do that. So in December and January.
But originally you were just gonna, okay,
I was gonna, yeah, I'll do one person at a time. I like the personal approach, right?
Yeah, which is still big, right? Yeah. It's still a big thing. But anyway,
it is. Yeah. So I started contacting a lot more people, and I love that COVID is over because I am very much let's have coffee kind of gal. Let's see if there's any juice between us here, because if there isn't, let's not waste each other's time, right? And I always love using the 5 pillars of wellness. Michael has made this beautiful card that you can get through Life and Balance Tools, has the 5 pillars of wellness, and it's a great conversation starter. So I ask people, and I have a big one in my house. People come to my house. What's that? Well, if you look at that, that's our philosophy. What two would you like to, make some movement in? And so people usually pick, as you know, finances and body. And then I can tell them, well, you're with most of the people who do this. Some people pick others, but those are the two that are predominant. So then we get into the conversation, and this is what I've learned so much through training with Michael Oliver, and particularly in this leadership training, is that and if you were on the Seiko Kai last month, we don't listen as much as we could, right? And listening is a skill. We think it's just you listen, you just hear it. No, it's not about that. If you were on that Seiko Kai, you know how deep you need to go with listening for the other person to feel heard. And it's about asking a question, listening to the answer, and then recreating what they've said, not mimicking back, like paraphrasing necessarily or parroting, but so this is what I'm hearing. You would like to have more money so that your granddaughter can have music lessons. Am I hearing you right? Yeah. Well, how would that feel? Because what usually you just stop there and you say, oh, I got a great business for you. No, way too soon. It's like saying on your first date, let's have sex in the backseat of the car. Seriously. So you have to develop the relationship. You have to really find out if there's a match. Do they, is there something that we can offer them? It's not about us getting, it's about us giving. And so I've been having these kinds of conversations my whole Nikken career, and I now have a finer tool on it. So I can go deeper and I can really feel people leaning in, feeling absolutely special. Everybody wants to feel special because we all are special. And it's not very often that you have the opportunity to be in a conversation where you can say something in your listening of that person that tells them you get them. And the secret to that for me is, okay, what is their world? What are they about? How can I be in their world? Because my world is great, but they probably don't give a second thought about me, because we don't. We think about ourselves. So when you can make that connection between, yes, I hear you from your world, and they go, oh my God, somebody finally heard what I said. They don't say that in words, but you can feel that they mean that. When they look back at you, they lean in and they go, yeah. And so that's how I've been building. And I could do a lot more of the larger meetings, but I've been having a wellness preview in my home, usually once every 2 weeks, with anywhere from 1 to 5 people. And I've refined and it's too big, but I've created the introduction to Nikken based on the introduction to the Landmark Forum, because it really helps people to understand, first of all, where they are right now in terms of the 5 pillars of wellness, and where they will be if they don't make a different decision. Because where we are now is where we're going to be tomorrow, and the next day, and the next day, and the next day, unless something changes. So we do this really fun exercise called your probable almost certain future. So
almost certain
future, yeah.
Okay.
So you're not sleeping well. Tell me about that. You get into that, and I say, well, how does that affect your day? How does that affect your energy? And so on. And the way I do the probable almost certain future is I say, okay, let's take a video now, and we're going to fast forward this video of your life, and we're going to go forward 1 year, 2 years. We're going to go up to 5 years down the road. Okay, so pause the video. What do you see? And they go, oh my God. 5 years from now, if I keep having such poor sleep and such poor energy, I could be dead or something like that. Or, I'm absolutely not going to be able to reach my goals. And so again, I could just jump and say, well, I got a business, I got a great sleep system, but boom. No, you still haven't reached that point where they are asking you. We have to stop telling people what they need or want. We have to start empowering them to tell us, because if it's not in their words, it doesn't reach their core. It doesn't reach their heart. It's a head thing. Remember on Seiko Kai, I talked about we have 3 brains. We have this brain, we have the heart brain, and we have the gut brain. And we need to learn to listen from all 3. We're so trained in our education system and our society and all the stuff that's going on in the world, which is all pretty much based on fear. We're trained to think here. So this is a survival thing. And it's all about how do I survive? How do I get, how do I get this? No, it's about coming from the heart and the gut. What is your gut saying about this person's deepest desires? And you can only guess. So you keep asking those questions till they, in their own words, say, now that I think about it, I really need to make some changes.
Mm.
Well, what would you like to do? Because people are smart. They've done, what have you already done about your sleep?
Right.
And has that made an improvement? Yes, no, maybe. Have you looked at some alternative things besides sleeping pills or whatever they're doing? Yeah, but I don't even know how to find it. And that's where I was 30 years ago when I was introduced to Nikken. I was desperate for non-medical solutions to my chronic discomfort, right? And I had literally spent thousands of dollars and thousands of hours going out for this and that. And I felt a little better for a little bit, but nothing was sustainable. And when Nikken came into my life, I realized, it's not about going and getting this and that and feeling better for a bit. It's about creating an environment that I live in pretty much 24/7.
Mm.
So that's the conversation I want to get people to. So you can finally say, okay, so you've tried this and you've tried that, and you've had a little bit of improvement. What if there was a way to create an environment that your body really said yes to and was able to get into that deep sleep? And you wake up in the morning, and usually tell my story. I take them through the wellness home, and when I get to the bedroom, I say, okay, I put them in bed, I turn off the lights, and I say, you've got 15 minutes. I'm gonna leave. I do a balance, I do the energy test before they go on the bed. I get them in there, I get them settled. I say, sleep on your side, however you sleep, get yourself comfortable. I put the sleep mask on, and I give them 15 minutes. And then I come back and I quietly open the door and I say, how you doing? I mean, I've had every response. It's amazing. And this one gal who just became a consultant, and I met her through the Landmark thing, she said, I feel like I'm on drugs. And I thought, uh-oh. What do you mean you feel like you're on drugs? So she's one of these hyperactive people. And she said, well, my mind is clear. I'm so relaxed. I'm not out there thinking about this and that. I'm present. And I said, wow. So we had a long conversation about that. And how would you like to feel like that every morning when you wake up? Yeah, that'd be great. So she said, I need this sleep system. I said, it would probably really benefit you. And she didn't have the money and she was moving. So I said, well, let's just keep in touch. So that was in January. And so last month when they had the sleep system special, I said, Priya, this is the month. If you can do it, this is the month. So she looked at it all and she said, yeah. So she got the sleep system. And did you see the little meme that I put on WhatsApp, Barb, with Sleeping Beauty?
Oh,
This
okay.
is,
Yes.
so she sent me this. She said, this is how I feel in my Nikken sleep system, just sleeping like an angel. And she's going to India back to see her family for 2 months, and she's taking the whole system with her.
Okay.
So anyway, back to, I get them out of bed and I tell my story. I say, for 30 years, I couldn't get out of bed in one movement. I had to have a strategic movement plan to get my body to the edge of the bed, to get myself sitting up, to stand up, and then I would walk hunched over to the bathroom. And one morning, 3 months after I got the Nikken Wellness Home, and we didn't have all the products that we have now, I get out of bed and I'm standing beside my bed and I'm going, something's weird. I couldn't figure out what it was. I just felt different. So I walked to the bathroom, and as I got to the bathroom door, I went, wow, I got out of bed in one movement. I stood up in one movement. I walked to the bathroom without being hunched over. I went, My gosh, I knew this was good, but I didn't know it was going to be this good. So that's a great story to weave in. That's what I try to do, other than listening to them and drawing it out of them, is to intersperse that with stories, my own stories, stories I've heard from other Nikken people, and so on.
Mhm.
Testimonials are so powerful. You know, we say facts tell and stories sell. It's so true.
Yeah, yeah.
So it's hard to describe, because it's kind of like creating a, if you're a playwright, creating a play every time you meet somebody.
Mhm.
What's the theme going to be? They're the star of the show. Where can we meet? Where can I take them to so that they get what they're looking for? Because everybody's looking for better health in body, mind, family, society, and finances. I don't care how wealthy you are, how healthy you are, how
Right.
great your family is, there's always another up, right?
Mhm.
And when, because we are so good, and I used to, in teaching, it used to drive me crazy. Mediocrity is so common, unfortunately. And I don't do well in mediocrity. I was a bit of a, how do I say it without swearing? I was a person who liked to change things and stir things up. And I remember being in the president's office when I was teaching at the college, and I'd been called on the carpet because I did something that was, I don't know, against somebody's rules. So I walked in and I said, okay, fire me. And he looked at me and he said, I'm not going to fire you. And I said, well, you don't seem to be happy with what I've done. And we developed the philosophy of this college together, and it was to serve the student. What I was doing was serving the student. If that's not good enough, I'm out of here anyway. He said, oh, no, 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 no. He couldn't fire me anyway because I had tenure, but he could have made my life pretty miserable if he wanted to. So be a shit disturber is my bottom line, I think.
But this is good. But along the way of your wellness home tour, you planted seeds or you share about the
Yeah,
business. Maybe it's lifestyle, maybe it's nothing
yeah.
about the business. It's about bringing it in and like encapsulating it, for a better word. And how do you do that, or did you do that with Pia or whoever? Are you doing that now?
The business part of it, yeah.
Yeah.
I mean,
Hmm.
it's again, it's not separate. It's, I
Right.
think our biggest product is our business, to be personally honest. And everybody, like my newest consultant that went silver in her first month, I'll talk a little bit about her. She said, I don't need the money. She said, but more money is always good. I can do more good things, right?
Yeah.
So there's something that people are ready for out of those 5 pillars of wellness whenever you meet them. I don't know what it is. If I look at Paula, and I just met Paula, I couldn't be able to tell what her 5 pillars were. I wouldn't be able to tell what would be the carrot that would attract her
Hmm.
to become part of the Nikken family. And I can only do that by listening, right, Paula? And you'll tell me if I listen well enough. And so some people, they're not even interested in finances. However, they can still become a consultant because they can help more people. So for Joan, my newest consultant, who went, no, she's not my newest one, she came on in February, went silver in her first month. The reason I had the We Accelerate award last month is because of her business. She just keeps going, which is great.
Yeah.
And she gets it all. But I was on this training program with her for probably 4 months before, in a private conversation, she finally said, Maggie, what do you do? And I said, well, I have a business. What's your business? Well, I work with a Japanese company in wellness. She said, well, what's the company? And I said, Nikken. And she went, oh my God, I have been looking for a Nikken consultant for 15 years. She had been introduced to Nikken 20 some years ago by somebody who was a consultant up in the north, and she bought everything, but she didn't become a consultant herself. And then, she moves and she gives things away and she wants more product, but she can't find anybody who's a Nikken consultant in her area. And she doesn't want to just go online and randomize, right? So when she found out I was a Nikken consultant, she was just over the moon. And there's the magic of the universe. It just so happened that the next weekend she was in Vancouver for a meeting. And I said, well, do you have any time? And she said, I'm pretty tight. I said, well, what time do you go to the airport? She told me, and I said, well, you've got time to come to my wellness home and experience it all. And she said, I will. So we went through the whole thing, and she was so excited, so excited.
Wow.
So, I mean, I had a little bit of help from, the universe, but we always do, right? Dee's laughing.
You
Yeah. So,
put that intention out there, and
yeah, it was
same with the
the,
boss event. When
yeah,
you were coming down all the way down to, San Diego, I guess is where you fly into, right? Or Irvine,
no, no. Yeah, John Wayne Airport.
John
Yeah,
Wayne Airport.
yeah,
Yeah. So then you're at that. I mean, you called these people, you just like we're asking people now, who do you know in British Columbia, right? Who do you know
yeah,
in Vancouver? Uh Proximity. So yeah. Anyway,
yeah,
you just decided that I'm gonna rebuild, I'm going to boss, let me call these people.
yeah,
Or
yeah. And out of the people I called, I don't know how many people I called, but two of them were willing to come by the hotel. So I thought, well, this is great. And I invited them to come before the meeting started because I knew we would be arriving. We would have a few hours between landing and starting the meeting. And it just so happened that one gal had been really suffering with some discomfort. And Barbara was we were all in the lobby there, and there were about, I don't know, 12 of us, right, Barbara? And so I was introducing her and saying, this is, her name's just gone right now. But anyway, and these gals, I didn't have to do anything. They went to work. They got her feeling better within about 15 minutes. They were chatting with her, rubbing her back, and yada, yada, yada. And at the end of
we all were arriving, and so
yeah,
I had the duo or someone had the power band, and the products were just coming out, and yeah, it was amazing. And Mike said, and you just put him all to work, put us all. I mean, it wasn't work; it was just
I
sharing.
just invited, yeah, I invited people to be part of it because that's what you might call a super A, right? Because that's more powerful than me saying anything to this gal. These people who don't know her, she doesn't know them, and they're willing to do this for her. And she feels so much better. She felt so much better. She said, well, can I come to the meeting? I don't know. I'd have to ask. So I asked Michael, and he said, not my meeting. You're going to have to ask Luis. So I asked Luis, and he said, sure. So she came on the last day. It couldn't have been better. She came for the closing exercises.
Wow,
Yeah. And
nice.
she signed up. She hasn't acted on it yet, but that's okay. She may not. But it was just such a great experience to know that her life was changed for the better in that time that she spent with us. And she said, what a great group of people. And I said, yeah, this is the Nikken global community that you will be part of. So we don't always have those kinds of opportunities in person, but we have them on Zoom. We can leverage so many things.
Well, Ruth and Yoko and I'm now the California team, a part of it, and so they are coming up with something in that California area. So we'll make sure you know about that because
Well, yeah, and Patty Sutcliffe sent me a new
they're doing.
consultant of hers who's living in Vancouver. So I did a whole wellness home tour for this gal. And Patty was excited. She was excited. And she was the first one that signed up for our May 11th event. I was so proud of her. I said, you cannot miss this opportunity. You can leverage so much by inviting people. You don't have to do anything because her English is her second language, and she's very underconfident with her English skills. I said, will you bring people here? And in a day, they'll have the whole picture. And then she came back for a second training with me, and she brought a friend, and we did the training on how to talk to people. And her friend was brilliant. He just said, no, listen to Maggie. Because she would be so flummoxed. She didn't know what, and doing the demos and stuff. And I said, and she was just doing them. And I said, no, you have to invite. People have to want to stand on those insoles. It's weird to throw two black things on the floor and say, stand on these.
Right.
Let's have a conversation first. So she was learning that whole thing about, warming up to somebody warming up to you by asking the right questions. And it was so fun because this gal is 21 or something, and she's just the sweetest thing, and she's so excited She started Nikken in Mexico, but she never really launched the business. She just got the products and shared it with her family. Now she's ready to launch the business. So timing is different for everybody, right?
Well, that's what I like about the word launch, because you kind of prepare, you might be making your list, you might be getting your supplies or your home ready. And, we did do that before with the bringing people up into our bedroom or guest room or, area and have them lay, or the demo pack when we had
Right.
those.
We used to do rollouts. Yeah.
Yeah. So any question, guys, from the field? I know Maggie, we could just keep listening to you.
I know. Well, I keep talking too, so thanks for listening.
Yeah. No, but there was a fine line and a decision made, and then that's
Yes.
that decision was pivotal, and then everything started to fall into place from that.
Right. With
But
planning. I mean, I had to figure out who I'm going to talk to. That's, I think, when you're as long in the business as we are, sometimes it's hard to think, who do I talk to now? Right. Lorraine has a question.
yeah, go ahead, Lorraine.
Thank you, Maggie. I just listening with intent, but I look at talking to people. Of course, I have a mental block, but I'm like you. What do I do with the rest of my life? After I wrote my autobiography, I says, what am I going to do with my rest of my life? I said, well, I'm just going to promote my wellness business. But I look at, learning how to do NECAN. It is a university education. They have to, in my mind, especially if you get a young person like your 21-year-old, they have to think, I have to feel that it needs to be like almost a 101 education of network marketing or talking to people. I mean, it is can be very overwhelming. Where do you start? And so of course, I'm going into my 86th year.
Wow.
And I wouldn't be without NECAN at all. And of course, I'm in a new place now, and I've got all my NECAN things up, and where I got my wellness home, and so I'm bringing people, talking to people. But I really appreciate your fine tuning the conversation. That is so important. Learning the conversation and listening. That Seiko Kai was so meaningful. And I say, damn, I wish I had learned that way back 20 years ago when I got started.
Never too late, Lorraine. You're a lifelong learner like me. You'll do it.
Yeah. Lower my hand here.
There you go,
Thank you.
Paula. Go ahead.
When you have them lie on your bed, is it with the new fit or is it with an older pad?
New fit.
Okay. Do you think it would work as well with an older pad?
Yeah, they don't know it's old.
Okay, and do you have them go between the sheets or just lie on top of the bed?
I take the sheets off so they can actually see the fit. Have
Okay.
them lie down. I have the Makura pillow. Do you know that Makura means pillow in Japanese? This is a pillow. Hello.
Is it?
Pillow.
Nice.
Anyway, I have to throw that in. Yeah, so it's everything, and it's the comforter and the sleep mask.
Okay, because I have on my spare bed, I have the old pad, and but I have the new fit and the Makura in the case on the bed in case they want to see it. Because I'm considering doing wellness home tours here because I just moved down to the Niagara area, and I moved down here, and then COVID hit and never got out of the house, and so I don't know a single person, so it's a little difficult to get back on that horse and try and figure out now where do I go?
Okay.
Are you in Toronto now?
I am.
Would you be willing to have a phone call with me since we're in the same time zone?
I'd be willing to have a phone call with you if I was in Timbuktu, of course.
Oh, no, but it's just easier when you're in the same time zone. So
it's easier. It is
Yeah.
easier. I really don't like the calls that come in at 8 a.m. Eastern time, because that's 5 a.m. in Vancouver. So
Yeah. Could you put your phone number in the chat or?
I can say it, or Barbara, you can put in the chat.
Okay.
Yeah.
604.
I'll do that at the next question. So one of the things I think she's asking is, do they lay right on it? So shoes off like that. And what I used to do is I would put them on top of my, not between my sheets, but on the top sheet, right? I would lay them on that.
Yeah,
And then the comforter just comes up. So they're
Yeah.
still in my bedding, but they're not
Yeah.
in
Yeah.
where I sleep. But
Yeah.
anyway,
Well, it wouldn't be an issue for me because I have a spare room, so,
Mhm.
you know, we could do it there.
Yeah. I don't know, I love the fit and I love the look of the fit and the fact I can show that it fits, right? So that's why I take the sheets off, so they can actually see that and how easy it is to install, you know?
Mhm, mhm.
Yeah.
Okay.
But yeah, absolutely be happy to do a phone call. And the thing, Paula, one of the things, I have a group that I meet with every day, and we are the word police for each other. You know how powerful words are, right?
Mhm.
Have you ever done muscle testing with words? Words that
No,
make you weak, words that make you strong. It's fascinating. And so we have come up with a list of words that disempower us. And they're words that you hear all the time. Words like try, words like don't know, all those things that take us to that lower vibration. We, when we're with people, they pick up on our vibration. They don't even know it, but we
Mhm.
feel people's energy. And words really have such a strong message to the universe and to yourself. So when you talk about you're in a new place, it's easy to go, I don't know anybody, it's really hard. And you could say, I'm in a new place. Nobody knows me. I don't know them. This is, the world is my oyster. When I moved to Vancouver, I didn't know anybody. I went,
well,
wow,
I feel the same way because I have not been able to find another consultant in Niagara. So, I mean,
wide open.
everybody needs shoes here. And yesterday I started taking a course on lifestyle choices by a doctor who is certified in what she calls lifestyle medicine. And it's
Mhm.
all about what you eat and how you sleep and all this. And I thought, oh, this is good. I want to go because the capacity was capped at 50 and they're all old farts like us. And if you can help somebody, then that's wonderful. But Steve says, are you going to talk about Nikken? I says, not until at least the 7th or 8th session, if somebody asks me, because I don't
Good.
want to seem like I'm promoting. I just
That-
want to get to know these people. And
Mhm.
I have been for the last year at the community center. They have a senior social, which is 2 hours long, and everybody gets together and plays euchre and
I
has
love you.
coffee and cake or whatever, And so
Mhm.
I've been meeting these people, and 4 or 5 of the people that were in the crowd were the people from cards. So, you start to get to know people a little bit. And this is sort of what my goal is,
Yeah.
to get out and to endear myself to people.
Right. And if you want to, what I would do is I would say, you said something really interesting at euchre the other day, and you paraphrased back to them something that caught your attention. And then you can say, I'd really like to get to know you better. Are you open to having coffee?
Well, it's funny. I went up to the doctor it was from 1:30 till 4, and then halfway through we had a break for some healthy snacks and water with lemon and stuff like this, And so I said to her, I said, you know what? I says, you're preaching to the choir. My husband said the other day, between now and dead, what am I going to do? And I says, for the last 25 years or 24 years, I says, we've been on this path to wellness. And I said, so it's very interesting to hear it from a doctor
Mhm.
trying to focus now on, making lifestyle changes. And she was talking about, have you heard of blue zones?
Mhm. Yeah.
Yeah, so there's these 5 blue zones and how people live to be 100 years old but they're healthy and vibrant at 100 instead of, in a bed hooked up to oxygen. And it was very interesting. I want to see how she addresses some of the other lifestyle choices, and kind of go from there. So
It's interesting that if anybody wants to watch on Netflix, I think it is the documentary on blue zones.
Yeah,
And as I was watching it, I'm thinking, man, they're describing Nikken. They talk about the importance of community. They talk about
Yep.
the importance of, you know, being basically biomimicry, being connected to nature, eating food that is, you know, fresh from your area and that sort of thing. The very things that we do in our business.
hmm
And I look at people like Lorraine, I go, wow, in her 86th year, she's going to live to be at least 106. Because look at her, she's healthy, she's vibrant, she's written her own autobiography. Nikken helps us be in that container 24/7. So that's a great way to start a conversation with people if they're interested in lifestyle
well,
changes.
and Japan is one of the blue zones.
Totally.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right, guys, this is great. Maggie, thank you so much for coming out and doing this. I just am elated. I can't wait to see you at the retreat and or the forward. I
Yeah,
like
which
to think
reminds
of
me,
creating our future, right?
I know.
And that's with our humans being more classes that we have. So,
Yeah.
guys, get with the person that invited you to watch this. This is an amazing training, an amazing opportunity. I don't even want to say it like that. It's a lifestyle. Nikken is a way of life, and it is how we can stay vibrant and youthful and connected. So thanks
And
so much.
invite other people to do the same, right, Barbara?
Exactly. Exactly.
It's
So
all about invitation. It's not about telling and selling. It's about inviting and creating and loving and being. All those, you guys know all this.
You
connected.
know, it would be interesting to find out how many over 70-year-olds there are in Nikken.
Probably about 85%. And we need
All right,
to
Yeah,
guys,
change that.
we all
stop it.
started when we were 50, right?
I was 49, yep.
Yeah. All right. Thanks, guys.